lunch, and the workers have gone out again to do their works. And so today I'm playing the part of Zeus Tate, who was the gentleman that owned Delapre Abbey, and we just had lunch with a few of the estate workers. They're an unruly lot, but there is a very good precedent for unruliness here, you see, in Northamptonshire. So today I'm playing the part of Zeus Tate, who moved the self-denying ordinance in the Long Parliament of the 1640s. Resistance then to the crown, and in fact to anyone who would impose their will upon you here in Northamptonshire, has always been very strong. We've always resisted change. Here at Delapre today, we're showing perhaps, a bit about the 17th century, when England had just been involved in and embroiled in a great and cruel civil war, in order to bring the king, as they said at the time, away from his evil counsellors and again into the bosom of his people, being you and me, folks, the ordinary people of England, the people who really run the country, not the people who think they run the country. You see, there's a subtle difference. So here I am, as a man of the middle of the 17th century. I'm heavily armed here because, although my sword here is tied into the sheath, so that, to avoid any accidents, in fact it's always ready. The sword of an Englishman, a freeborn and true Englishman, was always ready to help the needy, to help the oppressed. And so in the 1640s here in Northampton, we were what King Charles I called a hotbed of disaffection. His quote, a quote from the man of blood, as we in Northampton called him, was that every man, woman and child, yea, even to babes in arms, even to little swaddled babies, were soldiers for the Parliament. Well, the rebels, as he called them. Charles I ruled, don't forget, by divine right. He was the Lord's anointed. And so really what he said went. What the king says. The king says jump. You just work out how high. But not for Northampton. We here in Northampton were very much of a rebellious nature. We always have been. The people of Northampton have always stood up for themselves. Our town here was walled, and the massive walls of Northampton protected Northampton and the townsfolk of Northampton from, the jealousy of less happy folk, just as the English Channel protected us, in the words of Will Shakespeare, from the envy of less happy lands, of which there are many, of course. Now, we here in Northampton and here in England, we believe that no man comes into the world with a saddle upon his back and none booted and spurred to ride him. I am booted and spurred, actually. In fact, if I just show you my boots and spurs, I'll put my foot up on the table here. You can see a big pair of spurs, and they're jingling, because I've got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle. So you can hear me coming and going. But the people of Northampton believe that we should have a say in our governance. And so we had big walls to protect us from the envy of less happy folk. King Charles II, to make sure that the people of Northampton never rebelled against him as they had against his father, after the king's head had been cut off, January the 30th, 1648, old reckoning, He made sure that the walls were pulled down. He brought in 3 regiments of soldiers to make sure the walls of Northampton were pulled down. If you're lucky, you can find little bits of them still to this day. But here we are, Northampton. Zouche, the man who moved the self-denying ordinance in the Long Parliament of 1640s, he would have known the folk of Northampton, the people who had a saying. And still to this day, true Northamptonians say this. It's a statement of, an unwillingness then to do exactly what they're told. And it goes like this, in the vernacular speech. Ent, kent, shent, wunt, enagonna. So they ain't gonna do it, they shan't do it, they can't do it, they won't do it, and they ain't gonna do it. If you ask them nicely, of course, Northampton people will move heaven and earth to help you in any way they can. And here at Delapre Abbey, we show all these different peoples through different periods of history. The sands of time move slowly, don't they? But we're hoping that, we always learn from our past. And so in England today, we can resist by just simply voting. And we can do that because people have felt it necessary in the past to have necessarily die for their beliefs and to make it easier for us nowadays to live as we see fit. So have fun with history. Come and visit us here at Delapre Abbey and meet old Zouche or Cardinal Sin or the nuns or my wife, Catherine Tate. She's baking bread at the moment. Well, actually, she's holding the camera. But have fun with history, and nice to have met you. Love and wishes to all. Go with God.